There are moments when something feels off, deep in your gut, even if everyone around you pretends it's normal. This has been the sentiment surrounding Meghan Markle's pregnancy for years. What was once whispered in private corners of the internet is now gaining mainstream attention, and surprisingly, the catalyst is artificial intelligence, specifically Elon Musk's Grok. This is not your typical chatbot. It can analyze photos, videos, body movements, facial expressions, and even the folds in fabric. Someone decided to pose a question that has circulated in conspiracy forums for years. Is this moon bump real? They used the famous dancing video, where Meghan's baby bump appeared to move, shift, and fold in ways that raised eyebrows. The AI's response was blunt, stating that the bump looked unnaturally firm, high, and foldable, traits often associated with prop bellies used in film. This analysis is not a human opinion. It is raw, unfiltered data based on extensive video and image analysis. Does this mean Meghan faked her entire pregnancy? That's a heavy claim, but it does suggest that there is enough odd visual evidence for even a machine to raise its digital eyebrow. When an emotionless AI system notices what regular people have pointed out for years, it becomes difficult to dismiss it as mere conspiracy theory. This situation extends beyond a single dance video. It encompasses Meghan's entire behavior during her pregnancy. She was unusually active for someone in the late stages, bending down, squatting, and walking in heels without support. Even her physical changes did not align with what is typically expected of a woman nearing childbirth. After delivery, the bump seemingly vanished overnight, with no signs of post-birth weight or lower belly sag. Just a quick return to Instagram-ready photo shoots. Lady Colin Campbell, known for her royal commentary, has been vocal about these observations for years. Initially dismissed, more people are now reconsidering her insights. She pointed out that Meghan and Harry never provided the medical confirmation that every other royal has historically offered. No signed documents from royal physicians, no public appearance of the baby shortly after birth surrounded by hospital staff, just a vague photo in a hallway before moving on to the next project. If Meghan and Harry truly wanted to quell speculation, it would have been simple. Release the medical documents like every royal mother before her. Instead, they allowed rumors to circulate, dismissing them as racism or trolling while leaning into their victim narrative. The question arises, why would someone go to such lengths to fake a pregnancy? According to Lady C, it boils down to image and control. Meghan wanted to be seen as the biological mother, the glowing figure in photos, the perfect royal wife. Perhaps she was unwilling to risk the physical toll or timeline of an actual pregnancy interfering with her career plans. If this is true, then the moon bump was not merely a prop. It was part of a brand strategy, a visual narrative. When AI like Grok begins to corroborate what regular people have been saying for years, it may be time to stop dismissing it and start asking serious questions. The inconsistencies surrounding Meghan's pregnancy are not the only source of suspicion. It's also how she navigated the royal spotlight. The royal image is tightly controlled. Every public appearance, every outfit, even how one holds a handbag is choreographed. Yet Meghan broke these unspoken codes, performing red carpet belly cradles and awkward squat poses that left onlookers confused. The mainstream media's treatment of any questioning regarding Meghan's pregnancy was swift. Such inquiries were labeled as misogynistic or racist, as if even asking about inconsistencies made one a terrible person. Lady Colin Campbell pushed back against this narrative, asserting that it was not about race but about common sense. She highlighted the glaring gaps in protocol, such as the absence of official confirmation from royal doctors and the lack of a traditional birth announcement at the hospital. The infamous line from Lady C that resonated with many was her challenge to provide medical proof that the baby came from Meghan's body. This moment crystallized the critic's perspective, transforming skepticism into a challenge backed by decades of royal precedent. So far, this challenge has gone unanswered. Even Meghan's post-birth photos raised further questions. Her figure returned to its pre-pregnancy state in what seemed like days, with no signs of the usual post-birth changes, swollen ankles, a softer midsection, or post-delivery exhaustion. It appeared as if the pregnancy had concluded cleanly, with no lingering effects, and she was back to business almost immediately. Meanwhile, Harry seemed more disengaged than ever. If Meghan was the architect of their public narrative, Harry appeared to be the face glued to the blueprint. This dynamic did not go unnoticed. Lip readers began analyzing old footage, scrutinizing body language. A moment at a remembrance service in 2018 caught social media's attention, where Meghan whispered something to Harry, who responded, "You do realize this is the end?" Her reply, "Yes, I do know," suggested premeditation and planning long before their exit was announced. Meghan was not an overwhelmed newcomer struggling with royal protocol. She was a strategist ready to navigate her new life like a CEO building a brand. Lady Colin Campbell reinforced this theory, noting Meghan's refusal to sever ties with her Hollywood team, her manager, lawyer, and PR. No royal has ever retained such personnel after joining the firm, but Meghan did, indicating her intentions were never to stay. The bump, the marriage, the baby announcement, all appeared to be part of a carefully crafted narrative. When the palace refused to allow her to transform the royal name into a business empire, she chose to break away on her own terms. For a time, Meghan and Harry became the most talked about couple globally, securing Netflix deals, Spotify partnerships, and Oprah interviews, capitalizing on their royal fame while criticizing the very institution that provided them with that spotlight. However, beneath the branding and buzz, there is a growing sense that something is amiss, a missing piece that remains unaddressed. Royal watchers are not the only ones raising eyebrows. Voices from within other royal families have begun to speak out, and not all are in Meghan's favor. Princess Eileen of Belgium, with her own complex royal history, recently defended Prince Harry, labeling him as traumatized and misunderstood. Yet, Lady Colin Campbell, who knew Eileen in the past, offered a different perspective. She suggested that Eileen has lost touch with the grace she once embodied, and her comments about Harry being bullied by the public were misguided. Lady C believes Eileen does not even know Harry personally. What struck her most was how Eileen seemed to use her own story of abandonment to justify Harry's behavior. However, as Lady C pointed out, there is a significant difference between being a victim of rejection and being the architect of one's own chaos. Meghan and Harry's narrative is not about being cast out. It is about choosing to leave on their terms, fully aware of the consequences, and then marketing that decision as a sob story. This has rubbed many the wrong way, not the departure itself, but the rebranding of it into a noble exile. Additionally, reports suggest that Meghan carries herself with a sense of entitlement behind closed doors. Lady C claims she demands to be addressed as ma'am and insists on being curtsied to by certain individuals, even in private. She allegedly reminds those around her of her royal status, as if she needs to assert it constantly to maintain the fantasy. This disconnect between Meghan's public narrative and the behavior described by those who have known or worked with her raises questions. Furthermore, her career ambition never seemed to wane. Before marrying Harry, Meghan was nearing the end of her role in Suits, without a breakout role in a major film. At 40, her Hollywood window was closing, but marrying into the royal family provided a global stage and a fast track to A-list status. However, she could not monetize that fame, as royals do not engage in sponsorship deals or fashion collaborations. When the firm pushed back, Meghan pushed harder, leading to the now infamous half-in, half-out plan, one foot in the royal door and the other in the lucrative American media landscape. Buckingham Palace rejected this plan, and when the Queen said no, everything began to unravel. The image started to crack, with lawsuits, podcasts, and documentaries revealing more than ever before. Yet none of it answered the central question: why has Meghan never provided medical proof of her pregnancy? Why has something so simple become the one thing they avoid at all costs? Perhaps they believe they are above scrutiny or that the narrative will outlast the questions. But the internet does not forget, and now AI does not either. Whether one believes the moon bump was real or fake, or whether Meghan is misunderstood or meticulously calculated, one thing is clear: the story is far from over. The questions continue to echo, and the silence from the Sussexes may be the loudest answer yet.